Hello everyone, we are here with another modern video, and this time, as you can see from all of these red cards, we are playing Ruby Storm in Modern. So Ruby Storm has been one of the most hype decks coming out of Modern Horizons 3. Now people have experimented with a lot of different builds, and initially I just want to play a list here that is something very stock. So for the moment, almost all of the red-white Ruby Storm decks have this same main deck, down to maybe a couple choices within the lands. We could be diversifying our fetches a little bit more differently. This is what I have online. But the non-lands seem pretty set in stone for the moment for Ruby Storm, especially for the red-white version. Now, there is a smaller contingent playing the red-green version. I have some different opinions about, certain cards. I mean, at first glance, I hate the idea of Strike It Rich. I understand that this is going to potentially enable more turn 2s, but I feel like on paper, Strike It Rich is just not very good in Storm decks. I think it's better in decks where you're trying to build up to like a critical mass of mana and then spend it in one turn. So I think Strike It Rich is just not very good in Storm. So we're going to see whether or not my opinion on that changes as we play with it a little bit here. Basically everyone is playing it. I'm very happy that we're not playing Dragon's Rage Channeler. I know that card was popular in Ruby Storm sort of at the beginning in Modern Horizons 3. I think that card just has no place in a Storm deck. Especially if we're trying to lean more heavily on blanking creature removal with Ruby, and then Ral being able to flip in response. So why are we then opening ourselves up to creature removal to play DRC? It doesn't really make any sense to me, and I don't think that card is very good at all. I think Wish is, or not Wish compares to Amulet, but more business cards, more glimpse, whatever is I think just a lot better. Even Strike It Rich I think is better than that. The other card I'm pretty happy that we're not playing is the Unstable Amulet. That card I think is definitely more of a legitimate contender than DRC, but it has some awkwardness. It doesn't get reduced by Ral. You need to have it at the start of your chain, which makes things just kind of trickier overall. Or okay, yeah, you can find it later on, but then it sort of eliminates if you're using that as your only win con, it eliminates the possibility of sort of low resource wins that Grape Shot can provide. I think Wish is a lot better. It's a lot more flexible. You can just go get, it can be a Past in Flames, it can be an empty, it can be Alchemist Gambit to beat a ring or something like that. So I think Wish having increased flexibility and working off of lower resources is a lot more valuable than sometimes Alchemists, or sometimes Unstable Amulet, quote unquote, draws you a card. So those are some changes to the deck. Those are some of my opinions on the current cards. I do not necessarily love the white splash. It seems like a lot of lists are not even running Orum's Chant, instead opting for Defense Grid and Static Prison. Now, Static Prison looks like it could be okay, but honestly, this just looks worse to me than a lot of other like permanent interaction cards. When I'm thinking about something that's going to deal with like Trinisphere or Chalice or whatever, maybe not Chalice as much because they have to Chalice to us, but like dealing with Trinisphere, Damping Sphere, whatever sort of hate permanent, High Noon, Deafening Silence, I don't exactly think about some of these this is better against, actually, I guess. So maybe we can same turn play this and win against things that are not Trinisphere, but against Trinisphere specifically, we need to be playing something ideally on instant speed on the end step. I don't want to like play a Static Prison past the whole turn and then try to win after that. So I'm a little suspect of this. Now, green does offer Veil, Pick Your Poison, Boseiju. So Boseiju is actually the reason I'd mostly be interested in green as a potential way to hit Trinisphere for only 2 mana. I'm pretty sure that might be the only way to hit transfer for only 2 mana that exists. I mean, you could play like our creature that's like 2 mana and have it sitting on the table, and like Kami of Ancient Law, or any of those various like disenchant creatures. But for something that you can actually play out of hand for 2 mana using an activated ability and kill a Trinisphere, I think Boseiju is probably the only option. So green is interesting to me for that reason. I also think that there is a lot of merit to playing blue. No one's really doing this, but Preordain, I think, is probably worth splashing for. And then ignore the sideboard. This is just a very rough draft. But you can play like Echoing Truth and then just sort of end step Echoing Truth, whatever the problem is, and then go off and win. And so just a very light blue splash for Preordain and sideboard cards, I think is something that is definitely worth considering. However, that is not what people are doing at the moment. So when starting with an established list, I think one of the best things to do is just start from the stock point and see where things go from there. I would be surprised if this sort of stock list is what shows up primarily at the Pro Tour. So the Modern Pro Tour is this weekend. I think there will be innovation on Ruby that ends up happening, and it'll be curious to see which direction some of those folks take the deck. I don't think that this will be the stock list a week from now, is basically what I'm saying. But, rough draft. I think blue is quite possibly the future. I don't actually think white is that good, but we'll see. All right, so let's get into round number 1. Okay, so we are on the play here in game 1, and we have a hand that is interesting, has potential, but is also a little bit awkward. So what I mean by that is we have this Elegant Parlor as one of our natural hands. Now, if this was a hand where we had just like another land of some type, we could Strike It Rich on turn 1 and then potentially turn 2 Raw Ritual, play these Ren's Resolves, and go for it. But as it stands, I think this Strike It Rich is not... I mean, we could Strike It Rich on 1, but then we have this Surveil land on 2, so I think our more likely play is going to be Parlor on 1, Strike It Rich on 2, and then go for it on turn 3. Depending on the deck our opponent is playing. If there's something where Raw is safe, it may be that Raw is safer on the board than in our hand, and if so, we will play him on turn 2. Another Pyretic Ritual I think I'm pretty okay with, so I will leave that on top. That does sort of raise the chances of going for it next turn. So our opponent has lead on a Tamio. Okay. So if we now go for it, we have Ritual Raw, Ritual Resolve, and we can potentially... So that's 4 spells. If we find like another Ritual, we could potentially get to the point of flipping Raw. It's not guaranteed, but against a counterspell deck, I actually don't... And I expect this to be some sort of deck that likely could be holding up Counterspell on 2. So I think I like the idea of trying to go for it here. And, we can see, what we find. Hopefully we find some good stuff off these Ren's Resolves. If not, we're in a little bit of trouble. But, that's the risks that we're going to be taking here. Oh, they have Subtlety. Okay. Okay, Subtlety Pitch Spell Stutter Sprite. So, I mean, getting rid of the Sprite is nice. We do get to play the Strike It Rich here, and then potentially go for it again next turn. Definitely a little bit rough. I was not expecting the main deck Subtlety out of what looks like Murktide. The question here is, do we play the Ral immediately? And I think the answer is likely no. Now we're going to have to sort of fall back into patterns to beat control decks. So I'm going to play a Ren's Resolve, try and hit another land. We don't. Those are good hits for next turn. You can see what we draw, what they do. Are they going to crack this clue on end step? Looks like yes. All right. So we actually would have hit well, probably 1 on 2 if they didn't have that subtlety. Now I think we're in serious trouble. Yeah, I mean they're holding up counters here. Bloodstained Mire is okay, because it does sort of raise the question of, are they going to counter this Raw? If not, maybe we have like double responses with Desperate. Okay, so they let that happen. So we're going to go for the Desperate Ritual out of the board. I assume removal is coming. I could have led on the Resolve and then gone for double Ritual in response, but that gives them too much of a choke point to just kill or to use the removal, I think. So I don't like that as much. Here, we're going to go for a Pyretic Ritual in response and hopefully flip the Ral. So we have a 50-50 to flip the Ral here. Go Tails. We won the flip. Alright, so we would like to use the ability. Okay. So we have our Rituals resolving. Flame of Onward isn't doing anything here. Again, Tails, lost the flip. Okay. We make some more mana. So now we can plus Raw, continue, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, where the deck is to some degree resistant against removal. So I mean, yeah, our opponent did have removal, but it didn't really matter. Strike It Rich here proving to be useless. Like, I mean, what was the point of... I mean, the first one, as sort of a bailout, it let us save a mana. That was, like, okay. But, you know, that Strike It Rich might as well have been a land. Oh, they have Force of Negation for the Past in Flames. Oh, that's rough. Well... Okay, yeah. And then we have a Wish, but we can't Wish plus... Yeah, we can't Wish plus do anything else. So we're gonna, I guess, be waiting with this Wish until next turn. Yep. Yeah, so we just have to pass. Alright, I mean, that was a good pickup. They might have drawn that off of the Flame of Anor. I mean, having the Ral in play is nice. Tap land, okay. So that's kind of good in that it's not developing their mana more. We can wish for maybe Past in Flames. Well, no, we're not going to be able to play the Past in Flames in the same turn. Don't really have that many great wish targets. I'd like a card that like goes up on cards, but we'll only have 2 mana following the wish. We need to like hit like a ritual or something. We could like wish, Strike It Rich, Grape Shot, kill Tameo. That's really not good. Vanor, they're killing our treasure token. Okay. So, I mean, flipping their Tameo. Yeah. Alright, let's see what we draw. Mountain. So we have a land. Now, we could just plus Ral, double Strike It Rich out of the yard and ignore this wish. We could wish... It'd have to be something 2 cost. We could Mountain, Wish, Alchemist's Gambit, and just go all in. So that gets Ral up to 6. Ral would get to 7. That feels a little bit risky. We could Wish Empty for 4 tokens. I think that's just bad. I mean, maybe the Wish Empty for 4. Alright, so regardless, we're plussing Ral. Oh no, the Wish and Wish, we actually don't even have Wish Empty available. We could Wish Relay for 2. That might be the line, actually, which is Wish Relay for 2. I shouldn't have played that land first. Alright, it's Wish Relay. Terrible, terrible situation to be in, but we're trying to fight our way out of it. What did we reveal? We revealed Desperate Ritual Reckless Impulse. Okay, that's about as good as we could have hoped for. And, I mean, we need this Ral to live. But if it does, I think we're in okay shape. They do have the ability to return their Force of Negation to hand. So that's a little bit bad for us. Because they can force our, like, Reckless Impulse. Yeah. So that's not great. I mean, maybe we do have the ability to just sort of slow play this Ral up to 8, like, naturally. We have 3 left in hand. Okay. Tapped with 3 stun. Okay, 2 mana to untap, yeah. So if they spend 2, still 2, 1. I think our Ral should not be under threat, but I didn't actually calculate it fully. Alright, so I'm going to lead on the plus. Actually, no, our Ral can be under threat, so we'll go with the Reckless Impulse. The question is, are they going to force this? They're going to Spell Stutter it. Oh, that's honestly better than force here. Yeah, I would have rather it was force pitch something. Alright, we're going to strike it rich. I know we could splice. There's no benefit to doing this. I'm just doing this to get this into our yard because it's more useful in our yard than exile. And then we could flash back these strike it riches and make some more treasures. Alright, so the next piece of business we find is getting countered, so that's just kind of bad. And then Ral is now going to be getting hit by these fairies, so there's no chance of us like hitting the Ral with an ult. So I think we've probably lost this. But we can see, because yeah, they hit us here to 6. Next turn, they're going to double Sleep Curse Fairy ability, so we're losing the Ral on their next turn. So it has to be here, I think. We draw a mountain. I mean, I could kill the Spell Stutter, and I can't kill a Sleep Curse Fairy. It doesn't really matter either way here. Maybe we... Well, no, but they still are just sitting on the Force Negation in hand. Yeah, I think this is just looking dead. We have no blue permanents. I'm gonna plus, but then just wait. Maybe there's some world where we draw out of this, but I don't think so. Actually, wait, no, do we? Because they actually only have... Okay, so that gets rid of the stuns. They can only get rid of 1 stun off that one, though. So, oh, they're drawing a card. Okay, so maybe we do keep Ral for the turn. That's nice. So maybe we get 1 more turn to draw like a Ren's Resolve or a Relay or something. They could just have Bolt and kill the Ral, but okay, looks like maybe not. We draw another Ral. So here, because I know this is going to die, I will 1 and 1 minus. I mean, having the new Ral is nice, I guess, but it still is just not anywhere close to good enough. They have 6 next turn. I'll kill this, start hitting us. The Tamio is getting closer to ulting. So all just goes back to the subtlety on turn 2. They had the subtlety, and we are, we've been playing a disadvantaged game ever since. But, sometimes, don't just, concede in a spot, well, especially in a spot like that where you can put it back on top. Yes, you're, very likely to lose the game, but, it's worth trying. Alright, so we're going to play a Raw. Okay, so they have a Spellstutter Sprite, so they're countering our Raw. That's okay. We're going to Reckless Impulse. Are they going to force this? Do they have another counter spell? Invert Polarity. Alright, so they did not win the flip. However, with the Tamio able to queue, I'll scoop it up there. Alright, so what do I want? I want defense grids. Strike It Rich is just not a good card. Do we want Static Prison? Probably. I don't. They might have a hate permanent or something that they bring in. Is it worth bringing in Static Prison for that? I think probably not. Instead, I'm thinking we just cut. I just kind of like this, so I just need one cut. Could be a Past in Flames. We could also maybe board in. No, I was thinking about boarding in the empty. I think leaving it for Wish Target is important enough. Alright, I think it will actually be a Past in Flames if they're gonna. No, actually. Force Negation is not good, but maybe it's a Raw? No. Maybe it's one land. No. Okay, well, it's a Past in Flames. Okay, so this hand looks pretty decent. It's a little bit slower, but it does play turn 2 defense grid and then turn 3. Well, we're probably not going for it turn 3 unless we pick up some rituals, but let's see. I'm going to lead on Surveil Land, and because I'm not going for it turn 3, I can sort of keep my options open with this Valakut Awakening. Do I want it in hand, or maybe I play it as my land on turn 3, but turn 1 will be Mire to Surveil, turn 2 will be Sacred Foundry. Alright, so we go to main. I don't know why I'm doing this now. I shouldn't be doing this now. Do I want a mountain? I don't think I need a mountain. So does our opponent have a Tamio? Let's see. They have a Sleep Cursed Fairy. Okay. Sokinzon. I will still take the damage here. There's a chance I want to use this for the ability or something in the future, so we'll see. Defense grid. Do you have Force of Negation? They do not. Alright, so that's good. Now they can still definitely just play through defense grid if they have force, and then they just hold 3 mana up to play the 0 mana force. So definitely something that we have to be a little bit mindful of. Magebane Lizard. So we're gonna need to kill that. That's very hateful. That's so hateful. I hate that. Alright, so we drew a second Ral, so I do like playing Ral plus. Yeah, alright, so we play Ral. Then we play Valakut Awakening as a land. And then we go for it next turn. We're probably in trouble here, but let's see. Yeah, how are we removing this? We need. Yeah, we just need the what's it called? The Static Prison or whatever. A second one? Well, that's very hateful. So it'll be 1, then 4. Legendary. All right, so 1, 2, or 2, 4, 6. Okay, so 2, 4, 6. It's 10, 8. Okay, so I get to play 3 spells before I'm dead. Brotherhood's End's not gonna do it. Grave Shot is gonna be way too slow. Non-creature spell. I think we're just dead. Yeah, 1 we maybe could have beaten. 2 I think is just not. I'm just thinking if we have any sort of option here. Here would be the window if we have it, but like if I Reckless Impulse, what am I Reckless Impulsing it into? Don't think there's anything I'm Reckless Impulsing into. I will try it just to see, but we take 2. Else we lost the flip. Okay. Another Grid or another Ren's Resolve. Play that. Just gonna pass, and I think there's no way we can get out of this. I'm just trying to think if there's any sort of like slow enough play, but I don't think there is. But let's see what they do. Untapping their fairy. And then they're going to clock us for 3. Okay. Now, had I... if these things had like 3 toughness or something, we could have kept a Sokenzan in hand, and I would have, and then tried to like triple block. But as it stands, they don't, so that doesn't work. Notably, we can't even use our Metamorphose now, just cycle it on their turn and only take 2 because our defense grid. So that's fun times. Brew Medallion. Alright, I'm gonna scoop it up there. A little bit unfortunate. They had the subtlety in, so that stopped our turn 2 in game 1, and then they just have double Magebane Lizard in game 2 here. So not the best start, but I mean, people are really packing hate for Ruby Storm. So I think, you know, things will stabilize, and it will get to a point where, like, you know, okay, yes, Storm is a real contender, but, you know, you can always beat Storm if you want to play enough cards that say you win the game against Storm. So Storm's never going to be the best deck in the meta for a long period of time. But the meta operates in cycles, and, you know, suddenly all the players who are doing that, you know, Storm gets pushed down, and it becomes not a smart move to play that level of hate, and then that is when a tournament is ripe for the taking by Storm. So, you know, things stabilize. You know, look at Legacy, where, well, maybe not current Legacy, but like historical Legacy, where Storm has been a very strong top tier, one of the best decks, but, you know, it's not. People do play hate, but, you know, you can beat the hate, and people can play so much hate that you can't win, but then often that is the wrong move because they're making themselves weak against the rest of the field. I'm not saying our opponent is necessarily doing that. Storm is hugely popular right now, and I do think it makes sense from opponents' perspectives to, you know, just play hate cards. I think within a week or two, maybe a couple weeks, this will stabilize, and you probably should not be playing as many hate cards in the future. Metagame cycles and all. But all right, let's go to round number 2, see what happens. Okay, so we have lost the die roll here in round number 2. Our hand is interesting. Ritual, Impulse, Wish is good as far as like business. We have 1 land plus Strike It Rich. So I am going to keep this, especially on the draw where we hopefully pick up a second land. We could potentially go for it on turn 2, but I think it's also reasonable that, oh, that's a little bit awkward. They probably should take our Strike It Rich. I do like having 2 reducers against this. They could also take Desperate Ritual. I think that's defensible. But having the 2 reducers is nice. If they take Ruby Medallion, we will not be playing Ral on turn 2. They're certainly playing removal. Although they could be playing more discard too. Okay, they do take the Ruby Medallion. I think that's an interesting choice. It is the I have Fatal Push choice. Or, I mean, if they have another discard spell next turn, they know we're not going to be able to play either one on turn 1, so that's defensible. So yeah, I would read this as either they have another discard spell or they have Fatal Push. Okay, so they have Nethergoyf. And they're holding up a Fatal Push. So this is a little bit of an awkward spot where we would like to play the Ral and then Ritual, but if we do that, it's going to get Fatal Pushed in response, and then we're going to lose. So I think our better play here actually is to just play Reckless Impulse, hopefully secure a land next turn, and then another instant speed card, so we can potentially go for it next turn with 4 mana accessible in total. We hit another Ral and a Ren's Resolve. That's kind of not what we needed. I mean, we can play that Ral next turn as bait for the Fatal Push, and we will if we don't draw. Well, probably we will even if we do draw land. We'll just play that Ral and then Ritual. Okay. They're going to attack with the Nethergoyf. There are sorceries. Oh, but it's only their graveyard. Yeah, this card is... Yeah, I haven't played against this card yet. So what do they got? They got Shadow Spear. Okay. And then continue to hold up their Fatal Push. Oh, they have Grief. I'm surprised that they wouldn't do that pre-combat, because then they'd get another card in their yard, unless they're going to scam the Grief. But if they're scamming the Grief, I do like that we have this Ral in exile now. So they should probably take the Desperate Ritual. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, the only way that this makes sense to play this now is... But even if they're scamming... Oh no, because the scams are instants. They should have done this pre-combat. I don't follow. They just missed a point of damage. Alright, but now we do have this Ral, which, again, they're holding up their Fatal Push. Okay, so we did pick up Ruby Medallion, and Ruby Medallion is not Fatal Pushable, so I think I like just playing the Ruby Medallion. We can maybe play this Ral later in the turn. We'll see. Go for a Desperate. Now I could go Ral, Strike It Rich. I think we don't need to go for that yet. We're gonna go for the Ren's Resolve. We hit a land, so I'm gonna fetch now to get the fetch land out of the deck, or to get the land out of the deck for the other Reckless Impulse. So we should also count, is there anything we need to be doing with Wish right now? It would cost 2 mana for Wish, and then we could Grape Shot. That feels a little bit tenuous to me. I think I'd rather just roll the dice on this Reckless Impulse. We pick up a Valakut Awakening and a Ral, and another Wish, which is really not what we needed. So I think it's going to be Ral, Strike It Rich, and yeah, I think Ral, Strike It Rich. All of those are new in there this turn. We need mana is really the bottleneck right now. I expect this Ral to die right now to Fatal Push. Yes. But I'm just, I was just doing it to, I don't know, because it's gonna be in the exile anyway. Tails, we won the flip. We would like to use his ability. All right, so we have a Strike It Rich. Next turn, we really need a ritual. We have Wish, and then we have 2 mana left over after the Wish. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand after their draw step. They can equip the Shadow Spear. One of them is another Urborg, and they just played it. Oh, they do get the land in the yard for Goyf with that. Douthie. Okay, so our yard is turned off. That's a little bit of an annoyance. We can potentially just Grape Shot this Douthie down, so let's see. Pick up a Scalding Tarn. So if we Wish, and then we've got 3 mana left over following the Wish. Actually, could I have played this as a land? I don't think I can play that off as a land off of this, but I didn't actually check. Alright, so if I want to view my sideboard, we could Brotherhood's End. Yeah, we could Wish Brotherhood's End. That's one option. We could Wish Grape Shot. That's a little bit worse because then our Grape Shot ends up in exile. Whereas Brotherhood's End, we do kill the Douthie. And I mean, yeah, I think that's just it. And then we just wait another turn. Yeah, okay. So we'll go for this. We could also Wish and make 4 goblins. I don't think that's very good. We could also Wish and I messed up. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm gonna say, actually no, we should fetch to probably Thin because it's not gonna change the clock. Okay. So we'll deal 3 to each creature and each planeswalker. Get the Douthie off the table. Take 4 from the Goyf next turn, but our opponent has really, well, 5 if they equip the Spear, but they don't really have anything else going on. And we have Wish. These are gonna die, and that's fine. So we have Wish in hand, so that'll be 2 mana. So if we get 1 more mana in any form, we can Wish Past in Flames next turn. So that's what we would like. So again, big Nether Goyf, but hopefully not the end of the world. Could also Wish Ring, potentially, depending on what we draw. Ritual, again, is our ideal. Ren's Resolve, I mean, we'll take that. That gives us chances. Anamorphose Desperate Ritual, that should be it. I'm going to play the Ritual first because I know we have the Wish in hand. But generally there, we should play the Morphos first. Actually, it maybe is still better to wait on some of these. But the problem is I'm going to commit to them anyway before the Past in Flames, so it's kind of the same thing either way. Like if they have like a Surgical or something, then they're going to get us. That's our sideboard. We don't need our sideboard right now. Okay, and they scoop it up. All right, so let's go to sideboarding. So, Scam, mono black. I think Static Prisons, depending on, I mean, I guess I expect some sort of hate out of them. What don't I need? Probably the Strike It Riches. I don't know, I just hate Strike It Rich. Expect some grave hate, so maybe, yeah, maybe like a Leyline or Douthie, so we cut a Past in Flames. Static Prison, especially for the Douthies and stuff. So, alright, I think that's a pretty good setup. We could think about just bringing the One Ring in. Yeah, honestly, maybe. We could cut, like, the Valakut Awakening. We're on the draw, so I don't mind trimming the semi-land. I mean, this hand is definitely a little bit vulnerable. I am going to keep it. It does have some, you know, potential. I mean, we are just weak to a discard spell, but... Okay, so they're going to take Ral, I would imagine. I mean, we can, like, turn 2 Reckless Impulse and then try to hit a reducer that way. We'll go for the Surveil land on turn 1. The Double Wish is not great. I'd, like, honestly well... Yeah, if this was another rich... Ooh, they take... Well, I mean, this means they have either a push or another discard. Okay, so that's a good pickup. Thoughtseize bug. Well, Inquisition bug, but, you know, not a real bug for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology. Damping Sphere. Well, that's hateful. We do have Static Prisons, so that's good. So we're going to fetch. Yeah, I think Static Prison probably just always has to come in, because it feels like everyone is running hate. If I want a Manamorphose, no. I think I just need to find a Static Prison. The ring is good. I'm going to Sunbaked Canyon, and then I think I'm going to go for the Reckless Impulse. Since we have Land Glimpse. So land next turn is covered, and then we could, like... We can maybe Ritual Ring, depending on what they do. We could just Glimpse and get the Eldrazi's. Like land, Glimpse, get the Eldrazi's. That might be better, honestly. They have a Douthie also, so that's going to be something else we need to take out. Well, it's not. It's actually not. We can just win through the Douthie. Now, our Brotherhood's End is in the sideboard, so with enough mana, we could wish Brotherhood's End and wipe the sphere that way. I think with that in mind, I do like the idea of just Glimpse and then... Well, I mean, the cards do just get exiled, so is Glimpse make 3 Scions what we want to be doing? Or is it Ritual Ring? I think I actually do want the Scions. And, okay, so we lose a Ral, a Desperate Ritual, and a Sacred Foundry, but that's fine. Oh, it's if they're put into the graveyard. Whoops. That's what I get for not reading my card. Yeah, I didn't read that. Alright, that's totally on me. I just assumed it made them and then put the cards into the graveyard or something. But, you know, read your cards. I've got a Nile Spellbomb, so our graveyard is just, you know, completely toast. This does open up potential, what's it called? Potential, Brotherhood's End, wipe the artifacts lines. We are going to be a little bit on low health for the ring. And this Sunbaked Canyon is not doing us any favors. But let's draw some cards. Another land. I mean, having this much land is not bad. I don't like that they're now just incentivized to hold the Douthie up, so it does make like a grape shot situation awkward. Basically, it means we're going to need to find multiple Static Prisons. I think I'm going to fetch here just to thin again. So I'll take the 1 life in order to just maybe have slightly better odds. Fast and Flames, not what we need. We can play like a Reckless Impulse or a Ren's Resolve. If I view my sideboard, I can wish play a 2-drop. I can wish play Strike It Rich. That feels not great. I could wish. No, Rich. Yeah, it's actually only wish play a 1-drop. Or it's play like a Reckless Impulse or Ren's Resolve. So let's do that. We do hit a Static Prison, so that's good. So I'm thinking then we do Static Prison, we hit the Damping Sphere, or do we hit the Douthie? So the Douthie hits us for 3, and then we take 3 from the ring, and then we take 1,000,000 from the Urza Saga. So we're just dead. So the Saga tokens would be 3, 5, 5. Well, we have to hit this Douthie, actually. And then if... So yeah, we'll hit the Douthie. And if they have boots, they kill us. The Lava Spurs. But if not, then we maybe take 5 and then 3. Go to 1. Can't use our Sunbaked. And then we'll pass here. And they could just have another artifact too. So there's a lot of ways we're just dead here. And if they have any other hate artifact, we're also just dead. Because now next turn we need another Static Prison. Bowmasters were dead. Very hateful. But let's see what they get. Oh, they're not making another construct. That reads like they have Bowmasters, maybe. But then their token is only a 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Second Nile Spellbomb. Seems odd. It's good to know that that's like the best thing that they can get. They just have 8,000,000 Nile Spellbombs. They have another Douthie. Okay. It doesn't have haste, and I'm assuming the graveyard's just toast anyway. So I'm actually not that concerned about that. Oh, they have the Thoughtseize. Wait, how did they play that? Oh, they have the... Okay, never mind. So then here, they probably just take the Ritual, although I could see a case for them taking their Ren's Resolve. They could also take the Ral, but what they will not take is the Past in Flames. So we do get another turn here. We get another set of draws with the ring, and basically we just need to find another Static Prison. And we can potentially beat this if we do. I think it's reasonable that we find another reducer. I mean, 2 of our Rals are gone, but we still have 4 rubies and 2 more Rals. That's 4 more, putting us down to 5. And we're taking 2, going down to 3. 1 for tapping our Sunbaked Canyon when we want to use it. I think it's much more likely we need to use this as mana than as draw. A land, okay. We would like to pay the energy, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Now, the question is, do we fetch down to 2? Because actually, Ral is kind of off the table as a reducer, just due to the coin flips. But we maybe end up in a situation where we need to play Ral as our reducer. So I think we actually don't fetch down to 2. I think we just draw with the ring. Okay, that was terrible. That was very, very terrible. So I could wipe the graveyards. The ring is just gonna kill us though. So if I like wish Brotherhood's End, we still have this Douthie to deal with, and we actually can't even do that. We just have to play our End's Resolve and then lose is what has to happen. I mean, maybe if we hit. Okay, so I was gonna say if we hit like Ruby plus Static Prison, but now without the Static Prison, we don't have it. Because if we hit Ruby plus Static Prison, we could spend 2 Static Prison the Sphere, then we can Ritual Ruby Ritual Morphos, and then try to go from there. The odds are not good from that spot, but it's something where we at least have a chance. But alright, on to game number 3. Do I want Strike It Riches back? I think I don't. I think I do want this Past in Flames cut. They're just very geared up on the Grave Hate. Yeah, I think I just like going like this. I mean, there is the possibility of leaving the ring as a wish target, but I don't know. How do I feel about this? I mean, we've got mana. We've got lots of mana. We have no reducer. But we do have a scry. I'm going to keep this because I figure they're probably going to Thoughtseize our reducer anyway. So if we have mana, then, you know, maybe we can do something with this mana. And this hand is like kind of insulated against Thoughtseize. Like, okay, sure, you take a Mana Morphos, but it's like not the end of the world. Probably going to end up sacking the Sunbaked Canyon at some point. Okay, they're griefing. They probably take both of our Mana Morphoses. Assuming that this is getting scammed. Oh, it did not get scammed. Okay, I mean, I'll trade a Metamorphose for 2 cards. Go Elegant Parlor. I don't need a Sokenzan. Static Prison. It's like fine. Play the Sunbaked. Could think about cycling this Metamorphose on their end step depending on what they do. They play a Saga. Still play Douthie because this is an Urborg. They've got a Bauble. They've got a Damping Sphere, so we do have the Static Prison for that. I think I am going to cycle the Morphos. Let's get more cards into the yard before the yard gets nuked. Why I'm clicking black. It's not like we're going to play anything off of this anyway. Okay, that's actually decent. It doesn't quite work, but maybe we can get in under the Grave Hate at some point here. Tarn, okay, but we're in an increasingly bad situation here. Question is, do I need to Static Prison now and just bank on getting there in the next 2 turns? So if I Static Prison now, then we have 2 turns without the sphere in play. Our hand is not great. If they have Grave Hate, though, potentially, I mean, basically in 2 turns, Grave Hate is coming down. I think we actually do play it here, because if they get to the, yeah, if they get to their Nile, we're probably dead anyway. So we'll try to go for it here. I'm going to draw with the Sunbaked Canyon. Just draw 2 more cards. Hopefully they don't have a Douthie. If they have a Douthie, we're in trouble. They just accidentally played Nurborg. They have another Damping Sphere. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's very bad. Okay, I mean, sure. So we can draw a card. We need another Static Prison and a Reducer. So that means we're going to basically have to find it off of Ren's Resolve. The Reducer is there. So I think it has to be like Static Prison off the top next turn. Should have maybe held the, well, played the wood. It doesn't matter though. It's not going to matter. Not like I'm going to have a chance to get all these lands out. And basically we're saying we have to win next turn. But now they have Nile, so we're dead. Yeah, we're just dead. Maybe we work our way to some sort of Brotherhood End situation. That's the only possibility. But I don't think this is going to work for us. They have the 3rd Damping Sphere? Excuse me? What? That's crazy. People really are hating on Storm right now. I mean, I guess maybe it's a good metagame call, but oh man, that feels weird. We would like to pay to prevent that. Actually, maybe we should not. Oh no, but maybe we're gonna. I think we're gonna play. Whoops, second main. So we'll play the Wooded Foothills. We could play a Ruby, and then we could play a Raw for 2. Let's do that. Get our reducers into play. Wait. Red spells cost 1 less. 1, 2. Price is raised by 2, so it's 4. Oh yeah, you're right. That doesn't work. This is not net mana. I should have played the Ral then, but whoops. Oh, they're just nuking the graveyard now to draw a card. Okay. I mean, they're gonna get another Nile, but I do like that's at least used. And we just need to find Wish for Brother. Oh, but Brotherhood's End's gonna eat our Ruby. Oh, that was a terrible idea. I should have just played the Ral. I mean, they probably have like a Fatal Push or something, because what's even in their hand? That's gonna make constructs. But actually, Wish into Brotherhood's End is going to be impossible because they have 3 Damping Spheres. So the Brotherhood's End is going to cost 6. So we need 9 mana for that line. 8 with, well, 7 with the Ruby. Okay, so they have a Grief. Yeah, I 1000% should have played the Raw. That was such a mistake. 7 with the Ruby. 5. Okay, it's not that far off. So we need 2 lands and a Wish. And then we get to nuke the board. Because our opponent is on the Saga plan here, it looks like. We hit another Saga Static Prison. I mean, that can eat a Saga token, I guess. Which can, you know, buy us a turn, maybe. We're going to take a big hit here, though. Actually, yeah, we're just toast, because we can't deal with both of these constructs in time. We just don't have enough mana. Unless they just don't make a second construct, which would be a little bit crazy, but no. They didn't do it before. Yep. All right. Well, the hate is here. Triple damping sphere. Now, you know what would be pretty good right about now? Echoing Truth. Echoing Truth would be pretty good here. Echoing Truth would have also been pretty good. Wasn't there some game earlier where our opponent had multiple hate pieces? I feel like there was. I don't remember. Like multiples of the same hate piece. Oh yeah, the lizards. Hey, Echoing Truth would have been good there too. Should we be playing blue? Something to think about. We draw a Ral. Okay, that's a good pickup, but you know. Now alright, so now we eat one of these construct tokens. And now we take another hit. We have double reducer, so Wish would be 1, and then Brotherhood's End would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could actually, if we draw Wish next turn, we could do this. Static Prison is not the answer. I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. Static Prison is not the answer. This card just feels not good. I don't know. Like, ideally you need your anti-hate to be able to beat the hate, and not necessarily at a 1-to-1 ratio. You can maybe talk about like, okay, they have a Goyf. You can maybe talk about like, alright, Wish. Not Wish. We will sacrifice the Static Prison. Because, you know, it's a token, so it doesn't come back. Alright, so we're gonna Reckless Impulse, because we're dead, otherwise. Heads, we lost the flip. We could almost play the ring, but we can't. It would be 7 mana. Glimpse would get reduced by. Can we play Glimpse? Sure. All right, we can play Glimpse. We have some chump blockers. And maybe we can string together the ring next turn. Still need to hit Wish though. I think I am going to use Growl's ability here. And we're going to discard whatever we draw here. So 3 static, reckless, Ren's Resolve to the yard. We can plus the Ral, chump both of their things with Scions. Next turn, play the ring. Try to worm our way to I mean, we're just living, but it's not good. Maybe if we can get Ral to like 8. Still have to deal with these damping spheres though. Alright, we got the blockers. Another Nether Goyf. I kind of can't believe we're still alive. I mean, that's cool, but I'd like to be winning. Desperate Ritual is not what we need. So let's play the ring. We are going to draw a card. Again, not what we need. Plus this, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's going to get attacked. Maybe they won't think about it. Now I think it's too late. I think we needed to hit more mana there so that we can facilitate the wish into Brotherhood's End without, yeah, I was toast. Without the Ral in play. Because now, yeah, now I'm just not sure what we can do. I get maybe we can hit Glimpse. Yeah, so if we hit Glimpse plus land, Glimpse buys us another turn, but then we die to our ring. And Scion is something, but... Well, if we draw a Glimpse here, maybe we actually don't use the ring. Okay, we drew the Wish. So let's do some math. So, Wish would be 2. Brother's End would be 7. We are off by 1 on that. We don't have blockers for these Nethergoyfs. Yeah, we're just dead. We just have no out here. So we can draw a land. And, I mean, okay, sure, we can wish. And we can Brotherhood's End. But it's not gonna... we're just dead because we can't deal with the Nethergoyfs. And our line here is hope that our opponent misclicks through combat. Sure. Eat our yard. What do they... Oh, okay. I mean, see, look at that. We killed the Damping Spheres. That was really the goal of this game, I'm going to say. Get triple Damping Sphere off the table. And here's the part where they pass. Yeah, pass through combat. No, all right, fine. All right. I mean, I know it wasn't very likely. We were basically dead there. Okay, so not the best start, but it feels like we have faced some very hateful things. Let's see if we can claw it back. Okay, so we are on the play. We have a hand here that's kind of interesting. We have some rituals. We have a Ren's Resolve. I am going to go ahead and keep this. Ren's Resolve on 2 is, essentially our cantrip. Also with the Surveil, that's good. Awakening is not really business. So this is probably not a hand that turned 3s, but it could if the pieces line up well enough. I mean, I do like having a pile of mana. This is also a hand that could potentially just turn 3, like make a pile of goblins even without a reducer. That may, against some decks that's just not fast enough, but against some decks that's okay. Opponent leads on Shadowy Backstreet, okay. Keeps a card on top. We're gonna go Elegant Parlor. We don't need another ritual. The jig is up as far as what we are playing. Past in Flames, I mean, we're getting closer to Bearless. I mean, that's a lot of mana. Rends Resolve. Strike It Rich land. And the land is like okay. Strike It Rich looks absolutely terrible here. Imagine if this was a preordain. My opponent's gonna play a Douthie and then we're gonna cry. Oh, Grief, sure. Ephemerate also. The nice thing about our hand is it's all mana, so it kind of doesn't matter what they take. I mean, I think the best option actually is to take the Desperate Rituals to take us as low on mana as they can. Unless they have Grave Hate, that's a bad. Because it does just have Flashback. Okay. Taking one Desperate Ritual is probably correct. Did I just have another Guide of Souls? Sure. All right. So what are we drawing here? We are drawing more land. Good stuff. We're gonna play this Strike It Rich. And yeah, that's what we've got going. And we could think about I don't think it makes sense to like Valakut Awakening there. Although it's looking more and more like this Valakut Awakening is probably going to be business, although maybe not. Hopefully they take. Honestly, I'd rather them take it here than our rituals, because our rituals are actually going to be kind of important to hit the Past in Flames, but they don't. They do take a ritual. You can hit us with the Guide of Souls. Take a damage. End steps will fetch. Get a tap Sacred Foundry. Draw. If I draw something bad, I'm probably just going to hold up Valakut Awakening. The other option here I have is Flashback the Strike It Rich. Okay, Ruby. So now we need to do some math. So we have 4 or 5 mana. Ruby down to 3, Ritual up to 5, Past in Flames down to 1. Ritual. So yeah, this is basically this puts us all in on this Ren's Resolve. So the question is, do we want to be all in on this Ren's Resolve? This Valakut's Awakening will read draw 1 card. So we draw 1 card and go all in on Ren's Resolve. So in the top 3 cards, we need to find means to continue chaining. A Rawl also would maybe work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could maybe set up like a double flip Rawl and have like decent chances off of a Rawl. Alright, I'm gonna go for it here. I think the chances of, hate coming up are high enough that I don't mind just going. Pyretic. We can Ren's Resolve here. Okay, Ral, Strike It Rich. So we are going to be looking at setting up a Ral situation as our business. We can do another Desperate. Oh wait, I meant to do a Pyretic, but alright. And then the goal is going to be to get to 6. We have 6 with the Ruby, though. So we'll play the Strike It Rich. We'll play this other Strike It Rich. So we've played Strike It Rich, Desperate, Pyretic, Past in Flames, Ren's Resolve, another Pyretic. We've played 7 spells. So here we have Ral, Ritual as our line. And then hope it flips. We could also strike it rich first, and then get 3 shots at a flip, potentially at instant speed. Well, 2 instant speed flip shots in response. Yeah, that's better. And we also have the Valakut's Awakening as a potential instant speed flip shot. Heads, we won the flip, okay. So we would like to use Ral's ability. I'll flashback, okay, and then they scoop it up. They didn't even wait for us to use it, though. So I don't know what they had in their hand if they didn't have removal. I expected them to play removal, and if they removal in response to the first Strike It Rich, we have Ritual, and the Valakut Awakening in response at instant speed. So we potentially get, so we have, what is that? That's 50, 75, we have an 87.5% chance of flipping our Ral in response to 1 piece of removal. We still have a 75% chance in response to 2 pieces of removal, because we can just, do 2 more instants in response to the second removal. So I think our odds there were pretty good. So what do I want? I'm just gonna assume that hate is happening, so we're gonna bring in Static Prison. Strike It Rich. No, that card is just not good. I mean, it was like, was it okay there? I mean, if it was, honestly, it would have been better as preordained there. We would have just found business sooner, more business. I don't know, or like, yeah, it would have just been better as preordained there. Past in Flames is probably the cut if they're gonna. I'm assuming that they have Douthies if they're like a black-white scam. So probably. I could bring in the ring. Yeah, I could bring in the ring. Ring is good. Valakut Awakening, maybe not as good. I know it was actually just kind of interesting there as instant speed red card, but we'll see. Okay, so we've got a Ruby. We've got a bunch of business cards. We've got 1 land. So on the draw, without a Surveil land, 2 shots at drawing a land. I think this is a mulligan. This hand is worse. I'm gonna think we have to keep this though. I'm going to ditch the Past in Flames. We do get to at least get a Surveil land here, and if we get discarded, we can still play an Impulse or a Ren's Resolve on 2. So maybe this is actually slightly better. It's a slightly better version of the 7. They've got a Shadowy Backstreet. This is again a hand that is pretty insulated against discard. I mean, I guess Grief Scamming taking both our Impulse and our Ren's Resolve would be bad. But other than that, alright, Static Prison. I mean, that is something that can get taken, but if they're taking that, then, I mean, sure. Well, not sure. It probably means if they're taking this that they have something that this affects, but we'll see. Opponent is playing an Ajani. Okay, I'm totally fine with that. Doesn't do anything. So we're going to play Elegant Parlor. And we're going to be looking for another land. Then hopefully we can Impulse or Resolve into our 3rd land plus Reducer or something like that, and then try to go from there the next turn. We don't really have a world here where we like land, ritual, impulse. No, we don't really have a world here where we get to go turn 2. That's going to go in the yard. And come on, land. That's not a land. So I could just eat the Cat Warrior token just to save some life. I think that's not high enough likelihood that I will do that. I may do that next turn if I don't draw a land, but if I don't draw a land next turn, I'm probably just dead, so, you know. And we had 3 looks. We had 2 draw steps plus the Surveil. I think that's a reasonable amount of looks to keep a hand based on. Chance we hold this if there's like going to be some other... Alright, so they're actually just Mardu. Okay, they have the Magebane Lizard, so we do need to hold this. Alright, come on, land. Not land. Alright, I'm going to just scoop that up. We're not winning that. It would take too many turns. Okay, so what else have we got? I think, I think we've boarded reasonably. I don't really see anything else I want to change. Yeah, we'll go like that. Okay, this is keepable. So we have Surveil. We have turn 2. Depending on what they do, we probably don't expose the Ral, but if we're worried about a Grief, maybe. Actually, maybe. Let's see what happens with our Surveil on turn 1 first. And what their turn 1 looks like. Is it like just Shadowy Backstreet or something? If they lead the way they did last time, we're just golden, but... We'll get the Parlor. Another Ren's Resolve. I don't think we need that. A couple Morphos. Okay, yeah, I will expose the Ral here. Questions, do they have... I mean, they could have like a Bolt. Push. Push. This is definitely a push, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think if we wait, we're probably not winning on 3, where if we go for it there, we have a decent chance at winning on 3. And here we're like, so if we wait again, we're not playing the round next turn if they hold up the push, because we really need to be waiting for 4 mana. I guess maybe I could have played Impulse. But now I can just play Impulse, and if I find another Raw, I'm okay. I don't know. I think this is okay. What do they got? Another Magebane. Okay. So... Oh, and a Grief. Let's see what they take. Probably a Ren's Resolve or Reckless Impulse, but we'll see. They take the Wish. Okay, interesting. I should have played this before the land. That was a mistake. 2 Metamorphoses. That is not what we need at all. And we can definitely just like try it. If we draw a Reducer, we will try and win next turn, even through this Magebane, and just hope we find a Static Prison at some point during the turn. They have a Hearse, sure. That's like fine. We don't have anything in our graveyard that I would describe as critical at the moment. So if I'm gonna maybe play a Morphos here. Oh, red. Red. Ruby Medallion. Okay. So I can go Medallion. We're just going to try to go for it here and hope we find a Static Prison along the way. I could play the Sacred Foundry. I'm thinking the life may end up being relevant, so this is going to be 3. It's a weaker version of what we've been doing, but... Red, red. Pest and Flames, sure. Morphos again. We do need to find this soon, because isn't this is 4? 4, 5. So we can only really. Yeah, we actually have to find the Static Prison off of this if we want to win this turn. If not, we'll have to pass. The lizard can't crew the hearse at least, but we could potentially be taking a big chunk here. Okay, not really what we needed. But tap Sacred Foundry. So the next card we take would be 5, putting us to 2, and then we wouldn't. All right, no. So we have to pass here. We have to hope that we hit a. Like we next turn we like maybe glimpse or Ren's Resolve, and then we hit the Static Prison like right away. And hopefully they can't actually. Okay, I'm much happier if they're taking those than Metamorphoses. So if they have a creature to crew this, they can hit us for 4 or 5 down to 2, and then it has to be the prison off the top. They don't, so they just have the lizard. So now we get a little bit of room to play to potentially find prison. Alright, so land. So Glimpse would be 2 mana, taking 1 damage to 5. Second spell takes us down to 4/3. The Tarn being at 2 versus 3 doesn't matter, I don't think. So I am going to fetch in advance for the thinning. I can take out 2 Morphoses, but we still do have Morphos plus Wish, or they take out Wish Morphos, but then we still have 2 Morphoses in the yard. So our yard is going to be not in the worst shape for the fact that there's an unlicensed Hearse over on the other side of the table. Okay, so I think we do go Glimpse. Sees the most cards. And because we don't actually get to Glimpse, Ren's Resolve, and Static, so it just has to be Static off of this Glimpse. Because that would be 6 damage, so the fetch doesn't even affect that. But let's see what happens. I mean, they're thinking about something. They have 2 cards in hand. There's a lot of things they could do that would just kill us on the spot. Like blow up our Rude Medallion, bolt our face. They could have Ephemerate for the Magebane Lizard, which would be very bad for us. I mean, that is something that they could realistically have that would just kill us, but we have no choice. We just have to play for this. I mean, this is the perfect set of things to draw, but we just can't beat Ephemerate, so. Oh, are they using it early? Oh, they used it early. Because I didn't target yet. This targets when it ETBs. Oh, we should have been dead here. Yeah, our opponent definitely punted this. And I think now maybe they're realizing it. But we'll see. Alright. Are they not realizing that they take damage, maybe? Alright, so the lizard's going into prison. That's good. So now I can go for a ritual. I have 4 mana, so I can Past in Flames down to 1. And they can't, I mean, even if they get rid of like Ritual Metamorphose, I will still have some more mana. I think I like Past in Flames here. If I Ruby, then Past in Flames, I can't. So it's just Past in Flames. And here, again, they're going to eat 2 things with the Hearse, but they do have an interesting choice here of what do they want to eat. Do they want to eat like Ritual Metamorphose, try and choke us on mana? Do they want to eat Wish Glimpse, try and choke us on card draw? And Wish Glimpse would be a little bit scary, but we do have triple Metamorphose draw in that spot. I think the correct choice is to eat Ritual Morphos and try and choke us on mana. They eat Ritual Glimpse, which I think is just wrong. It's like it's sort of the age-old problem of Gifts Ungiven, where the question is like, pick whatever you're doing and then commit to it. Like, it doesn't make sense to try to like do both things a little bit. I should have played more Metamorphoses first, but sure. We pick up another Past in Flames. We've got a Ren's Resolve here where we hit another Ruby. Got, oh, I mean, we're not really hitting business, but we do have the Wish in the yard. So we Ritual. We can play a Ruby, I guess. We can. All right. Well, I mean, with the Wish in the yard, we do just have this, but Pyretic and Desperate, Wish, and then yeah. Okay, so we end up getting the match, although our opponent should have had the 3rd game. They just punted by playing their Ephemerate on their Magebane Lizard too early. But we did get there. And alright, so we are 1-2. Let's try to keep fighting our way back through, honestly, what feels like one of the most hateful leagues I've played in a long time. Alright, round number 4 coming up in just a second. Alright, we win the die roll. We've got a hand here that is okay. I wouldn't call this great, but we do have like Valakut, Mountain, Ruby. Note the Strike It Rich is not doing anything in this hand. I would much prefer this to be a different card. Maybe even a Preordain. Or literally anything else. I'd prefer it to be a land, actually, even. Maybe a what's it called? The 1 mana dual face land that deals damage and then exiles if it kills. That'd be better. Alright, Lush Portico enters the battlefield, serve out 1. They are ditching a Misty Rainforest. This is suggesting that this is perhaps Nadu. Ral is a decent pickup. So we can go Ruby and pass the turn. Annoyingly, we don't really have a turn 3 here. Opponent plays Halfling, another land. They're still a decent ways away from comboing. So I can just take another turn here developing. So I mean, we can play Ral, Strike It Rich. That's probably our best form of development. The question is, do we want to actually flip the Ral if we can? Yeah, I would flip the Ral if we can, so I'll lead on the Ral. It's not like they're going to be able to hit it as a Ral, where it's maybe they can... I don't think they really play much removal, though. Alright, well, it's a moot point. And then next turn... Why is my graveyard huge? Alright. Next turn we can Glimpse with 2 reducers and hopefully go somewhere from there. Guess do they play Ending? They might play Ending, but another Delighted Halfling. 3 mana left over. Nadu. Nadu, definitely Nadu. No Shuko. They can't really do anything else here. They're just, they could pact. Yeah, no, there's no way they can get some targeting happening yet. All right, so we draw a land. So I'm gonna go for the glimpse. Here I'm going to not flip Ral yet. Let's see what we hit. We hit Pyretic, Past and Flames, Strike It Rich. Could be better, could be worse. Pyretic is good. That's our second spell for Ral. Lost the flip. So we could Past in Flames now, or we could, well, we could Strike It. Strike It Rich is just free. It's a spell. But again, it's, if this was a spell that did something, I would be happier. We could, okay, so we have 3, 5 mana. Past in Flames will cost 2. And then, you know, to ritual things out from there. So we really need 3 mana to start a Past in Flames situation. Wish first is just relatively free here. Okay, we lost the flip. That is 4 spells. So we can play. None of these cards really are things I want yet, I don't think. So we're going to just go for the Past in Flames now. We could Ruby first, but it's not going to actually save us mana. It'll cost us 2 mana to save us 1 mana, and it doesn't help with the Ral triggering. So we won the flip. That's only 5 spells, so we would like to not use the ability yet. But now we got Pyretic Ritual, and now, alright, these Strike It Riches, this might be the first time that they're sort of okay, because we do just get to take free shots at flipping Ral. However, if there were a card that did anything, we could take free shots at flipping Ral while doing something, and that might be better. Well, there'd have to be something that goes mana neutral. But you could also do something like, I think Gut Shot is an interesting card for situations like this. We could Strike It Rich again. Now we are in, if we flip, we can flip Ral territory. But we're really having a time here. So we've got Glimpse. We have Wish Piff in the yard still. Okay, I mean, what happened to Tails Never Fails? I don't know. Evidently it's been failing a lot. So we can Rend Resolve. Tails Never Fails. Okay. Tails fails a lot. What do we hit? We hit a Reckless Impulse. Sure. We also did hit, what do we have out of our yard? We have Grape Shot. Let them draw 1,000,000 cards. I don't like that particularly. Let's just Reckless Impulse again. Tails Never Fails. Alright, we finally won the flip. We would like to use Ral's ability. That flips us a Ritual and a Morphos as well. So I'm going to minus Ral. Oh, I do not want to pass out of this step. So that Desperate Ritual is not a free Ral Desperate Ritual. The things on the right are. Alright, and they scoop it up. So we get there in game number 1 over Nadu with a turn 4. We are faster than Nadu on average, so I feel like this is probably a good matchup for us. They're gonna have some sort of hate, so we're gonna bring in Static Prison. I guess this just always comes in because there's so much hate around. What don't I need? Strike It Rich for the speed against Nadu, especially on the draw, I may actually leave in. Valakut Awakening we can cut. We can cut like 1 Glimpse, 1 Piff. And maybe 1 Wish. Go like this. Yeah, let's go like this. Just trim some of the top end and try and be low to the ground and fast. while having Static Prison for whatever they have. Alright, so, I mean, something. I mean, Nadu. Finally, maybe. Well, I don't want to jinx ourselves. Alright, I'm just gonna not say anything. Thinking about this boarding situation. Do I want another wish, maybe? I like our mana. Yeah, I think there's a decent chance we do just want Strike It Rich here. They're not really going to discard us, so I think I don't mind 3 Wish. Yeah, because now we are opening the lines where it's like turn on the draw, turn 1, like land Strike It Rich, and then turn 2, Reducer Ritual go off. So that's a pretty important line to have when you are racing on the draw, like the turn 2 that looks like a turn 3 due to the treasure token. Could also think about cutting 1 land, and we did cut the Awakening. Whoops. Well, never mind. Alright, so let's see what we're doing here. Are they playing Magebane Lizard 2? We'll see. We've got a hand that I think has to be a mulligan. It's close. If we draw another land, it can be good, but I don't think the odds are high enough without the Surveil. This is just no lands. This has to be a mulligan. Opponent also mulliganed. So they kept their 6. We're going to go to 5. We'll keep this. And I'm going to put back land plus impulse. Our hand is very slow here, which I do not like in the combo mirror. But, I mean, sometimes you just draw bad hands. We could, yeah, I don't think our 7. I feel like this is like comparable to our 7. Like I'm probably gonna lose the game, but it has a chance hand. Obviously our 6 is just flat unkeepable. Okay, Strike It Rich is it good? It's not good. I'd like rather get the Surveil land, but all right. Maybe I wouldn't rather get. Let me try to use it as intended, but leading on this because I can potentially turn this into a Surveil land later if I need to. Got Wall of Roots. That's going to represent a turn 4 potential from them. Oh God, Strike It Rich. I think here I need to. I'm going to get the Sacred Foundry because the life total doesn't really matter. I think I need to hit a Reducer. I mean, that's business. So if I naturally draw the Reducer next turn, we're going somewhere. But I'm a little concerned. Yeah, I think it just has to be. And actually, Ral is the better Reducer here, right? Because they're probably playing Force of Vigor. Oh, well, that's bad. So that's the hate card of the day for them. Glimpse. So we could not, or oh, we're just not playing those. All right, so Glimpse is kind of useless, so we'll just make another treasure, and then die on the next turn when they get their Shuko. Okay, they're making their construct token. Oh, that was on end step. Never mind. Here, get their Shuko, make their Nadu. Oh, they're just making another token though, which feels a little weird. So now they only have 2 mana. They don't actually have the Nadu this turn. We got one more turn to like try to draw Static Prison or Reducer. So basically it has to be Reducer and Static Prison as our next 2 draws. In either order is okay, although Static Prison first is a little bit better. Although maybe not if they have like removal for it. Alright, that's just not gonna do it. I mean, they're gonna hit us 8. Yeah, we need 2 more draw steps. We're only gonna get 1 more draw step. Alright. So what do we want? I mean, we have our Static Prisons. Past in Flames trimmed feels reasonable. Could bring in the One Ring. Maybe we bring in the Ring over a Glimpse. Go like this. And we're just looking for a fast hand. I mean, maybe they have like turn 2 Janeth, but if they don't, we can just outrace, and hopefully we just should outrace. Valakut Awakening could come back in actually also. Maybe over the Ring. Alright. We have land Ral. Second Ral, Morphos. Yeah, we'll keep this. That last minute Valakut Awakening swap I think was important, because otherwise we'd be mulliganing this if this was the Ring. Double Wish is a little bit awkward. But not catastrophic. One has mulligan to 6. Surveil. Another Ral. I mean, okay. We'll get a Mountain. Actually, I maybe should have gotten a Sacred Foundry, because Static Prison if it's needed. And we do have Morphos, but we really aren't in a shape to do anything next turn, which is unfortunate. We do have at least the one, or the glimpses in the sideboard give us some potential business out of the board, which is nice. We need rituals. I mean, I would guess I would accept a exile thing as well, although depending on what they do. I'll get Parlor. Will we play it before the Morphos? Yeah, we can kind of surveil before the Morphos and see what we can do with that. Don't think we need a Sacred Foundry. So if I Morphos now, I go up to 3, Wish takes me down to 1. And then I literally just have Grape Shot out of that. It's still worth trying to with Morphos. We've gone down to 2, in which case maybe I could have like done like a relay for like 2 or something, but that's just not good either. Heads, we lost the flip, okay. We'll add red. Past in Flames. That was a terrible draw. Yeah, so I mean if we wish we do just go down to 1. Then and we can Grape Shot them for 3. Maybe we wish for the chance at flipping Ral, and we think about Grape Shotting. Alright, I think maybe we do actually Grape Shot here, just again for the chance at flipping Ral. So then I can play a second Ral maybe and do something. Alright, so they're doing that. Plus Ral. Pass the turn. So we need Ritual. They've got their Dranith. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. We do pick up Static Prison, which is good. We're going to play another Ral. So I could Static Prison it now, but we're not actually winning now. So I'm just going to plus the Ral and pass. And, you know, maybe they're going to be a little bit slower, and then we get to, like, Static Prison the Dranith, and hopefully go somewhere from there. Ritual. Ritual would be real nice. Or, I mean, presumably they're going to get the Shuko, but hopefully they don't get a hate card. Okay, yeah, that's... the question is, do they have the Nadu? They do. Fun times. Alright, so the question is, are we dead? Feels like it would be a little bit hard for them. I mean, no, it's not that hard for them. They don't have that many draws. Well, they're hitting them, though. 2 lands. They'll just be dead here. And Tuco, now we are very likely dead. Why did they get another... Didn't they Dranith 3 times? They're missing something. Because these 2 lands were from the Dranith, and then they played the Nantuko, and then it was still on the Dranith for another activation. And then only after the 4th activation did it move to the Nadu, I think. Alright, I'll scoop it up here. I mean, they had the Dranith, we just didn't have the mana we need. Okay, so we are here with round number 5, and this hand is okay. Our opponent has mulligan to 6. We do have the ability to go for a Strike It Rich on turn 1 and potentially try on turn 2. Although we don't really have that many resources for that, but this is going to be something we'll keep. So I'm thinking it's probably Sacred Foundry Strike It Rich on 1. And then we can, like, Soken's on Ral on 2. And either go for it there if we pick up, like, Ritual Morphos or something. Or if not, then we save the Tarn for Surveil. Opponent has mulligan to 5. Bower of Destiny, so they are on Eldrazi. Could be facing down a turn 2 Trinisphere here. That's always a fun time. Okay, so what do they got? So they've got their Uggin's Labyrinth. And now it is going to our turn. They put the Devourer under the Uggin's Labyrinth. Pick up another land, which is pretty bad. So because I'm not going... I don't think I'm going to be turn 2ing here. So I'm going to go for the fetch land on turn 1. And then go for a Surveil. One's got another Uggin's Labyrinth. So the question here is, do they have the Thought-Knot Seer? That could be something that they would have. They do. So they're down to 1 card. They've got a Thought-Knot, but the question is, what do they take? They probably take our Reckless Impulse. We do just get to jam a Ral then, though. It's starting to look like this Sokenzan may be used to buy time if this game is a little bit slower. And we get our Elegant Parlor. Do not need more lands. So I think here, just in the interest of preserving life, It's going to be tap Sacred Foundry, strike it rich. I don't need to play the Raw that turn. Opponent has 1 card in hand, now 2. Okay, so they've Thought Knot, and they're going to take our Ritual. So picking up the second Thought Knot is pretty good for them on a mull to 5. Double Soul Land, double Thought Knot, pretty strong. They do take the Ritual, yeah. Take the non-redundant card, which makes sense. Got a Tarn. I'm going to play a Ral. I'm not going to go for it off of 1 mana Morphos. We can take another hit, and then we can even potentially soak in Zen to block another hit. So, okay, yeah, the swing 8, we're not going to block this. Go to 7. Even if they have like Land Smasher next turn or something, we're still okay if we double block with the Soak Zen tokens. They have the Ring, okay. I mean, we can definitely just beat the Ring. The bigger concern is if we can't go off next turn, and then they like draw Trinisphere or whatever. So here we'll fetch. Doesn't have to be on end step. We could have fetched on upkeep, but just a thin. Best draw would be probably, okay, I was going to say Glimpse, but Ren's Resolve is not bad. So we can go Ren's Resolve. We lost the flip. We actually are getting to a life total where we are just going to have to flip Ral, even if we're not all the way there. Like, the Ral does potentially represent a threat to us here. I'm going to go for Morphos. Because we're low life total, I am going to flip the Ral here, despite it going a little bad. Got another Ral, that's terrible. We do have 5 mana, so we get to, like, do the world's saddest Past in Flames. Or we can play a Soken and give them a turn. Could play like Ral, discard Soken's on. No, we can't actually. Well, we'd have to burn our treasure token to do it. Yeah, I mean, okay, we're gonna have to go for the Past in Flames here, I think, despite it being terrible. Then we can Morphos. So that is, so it's Past in Flames, Morphos, Ren's Resolve that have been played so far. Make 2 more red. Maybe we get to a world where we can. So that's 4. 5 is this Ren's Resolve. Double Glimpse. So if we strike it rich, we can't Ral. No, we needed to find. I mean, okay, so we can actually, I guess, Glimpse, pass, discard the cards, have blockers. So that is another route by which we get blockers. Not exactly happy with that, but that's what we've got. We are now dead to Smasher because it's got Trample. But let's see what they find with the Ring. So they're going to have several cards. Thought Knot really not too concerning for us. Cavern, sure. This is feeling like a Smasher with the 5 mana. Yep, this is Smasher. Dead. Yep. And we can block 2 of the Thought Knots, but then the Smasher tramples over for exactly 4. Alright. So, I mean, we had chances. I feel like we just kind of didn't draw that great. Would have actually, if we had Ral Sokenzen, we would have actually lived that, but I mean, I think it's reasonable to go for it there, because if we do just hit a ritual, then suddenly we ritual, we can like Ral, and then we get one, or we get at least one with the Strike It Rich, maybe 2 shots at flipping him. And if we can flip him, then we get the -8, and we're just golden. So I think that was decent likelihood of winning for us, to the point where it was worth trying. All right, so 4 static prisons. I'll bring in our ring. Trinisphere being the main hate. What am I cutting here? Strike It Riches I do want for the speed, I think. Maybe we can cut the Valakut Awakening, 1 Piff, 1 Wish, 1 Glimpse, just for being a little bit slow. We don't need the ring. Alright, we could go like this. Could also think about cutting like 1 bear, maybe. Sand is... I'm going to keep it. I'm not exactly excited about it. We do have like... I think it's actually turn 1 Surveil. It might be turn 1 Surveil over the Make the Mana. Yeah, I'm going to go turn 1 Surveil. And then turn 2, probably just Reckless Impulse. And if we have to, we draw with the Sunbaked. Opponent has kept 7. This is a hand that can win, although it's a little bit slow. So, I mean, there's risk, but... Alright, so we Surveil. Don't need more land. Alright, upkeep. What you thinking about? Surgicaling our Bloodstained Mires, maybe? Be okay with that? Second ritual, not bad to have in hand. If it's a Thought Knot and they like take the ritual, then sure. Go for the Mountain, and then I'm gonna go for Reckless Impulse. Hopefully we hit like Reduce our Business. And then even if they have like Thought Knot, we're in okay shape. It's Reducer. It's not business, but could be worse. Now we really need business. Temple. Trinisphere. Yep. Okay, so that's the Trinisphere. So we're not winning anytime soon. Do get to put the Ruby in play this turn still. Could we please just not draw more lands? We'll probably play the Sunbaked next turn and then draw with it if we don't have anything better to do. Do I have like a Smasher or something off of this? Then we need Static Prison next turn, basically. That's feels like a Smasher. Oh, it's a Chalice too. Okay. Alright. I mean... Sure. We need Brotherhood. We wish Brotherhood's End now, and so that's going to be 6 mana. So... Draw another land. Get the Bloodstained Mire, and then we'll play the Strike It Rich. Wish Brotherhood's End's going to be unfortunate because we're going to have to blow up our Ruby. Maybe they only have hate permanents. Now I'd just be like rooting for more Trinispheres. Just play like another Trinisphere and then another Chalice. But this is going to be a Thought Knot. No. Maybe it's another chalice. Okay, okay, good, good. More hate permanents, and maybe we can wish our way out of it. Get to flashback the Strike It Rich here. They've got all the lands in the world. Got the Null Drifter, so soon they're going to be able to go get that. Morphos, not what we need. We'll flashback the Strike It Rich. I'm going to play the Sunbaked Canyon and then draw with it on the end step. So when they take that back, they need to, they don't have anything to emerge out of, or, oh no, evoke. Yeah, I mean, they can evoke it. But they probably want to card cast it, so they still need 2 more mana. So if they have like another Temple or another Ugin's Labyrinth, that would get them there. Okay, so they're still 1 mana away from take. Oh, next turn they could do it. Okay, so we're gonna draw. Ral is. It's actually not the worst. But that's not it. The downside, or the reason for Ral not being the worst, is because we're gonna lose our Ruby if we can claw out from under these artifacts, and so we will need another reducer. So this is a hand that can win if we find Wish. What are they playing? Oh, they're Kozilek's Commanding for 1 million. Got 6 Eldrazi's, and they're gonna like search for an Emrakul or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So land plus Emrakul would cast them an Emrakul. That would be pretty bad. Hopefully they just whiff horribly and get like another Transphere and then play it, and then we draw Wish. That would be the dream. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we'd have 8 mana. So next turn, what do they? Oh, it doesn't show us what they put. 4 top, 2 bottom. Okay, that's bad. And then what was I gonna say? Lost the train of thought. Oh yeah, so potentially if we draw Wish, we do have Wish and then Ritual Ral, Ritual Morphos. So we have a chance in 1 turn here if we don't get messed with. And again, we have to specifically draw Wish. But they're going to play some sort of Giant Eldrazi, and then we're going to concede because we can't said Giant Eldrazi is what's going to happen. Every creature you control. That's not the worst. Oh no, that is bad. Does that just kill us? 6. So that gives it 9. 6. These are all 0/1s. Not yet. Another line breaker would kill us. Do they have a second line breaker? I feel like they would have played it before if they had it. They do. Why didn't they play this before? I guess they just drew line breaker and then Kozilek's Commanded into another line breaker. And then they have the Thought Knot. Alright. Actually, wait, does that take it off of lethal? 7. X is the number of Eldrazi you control. 7, 10, 10. Alright, it's over. No. Okay, so that went pretty rough. Let's go take a look back at the deck list. Okay, so let's take a look back at the list. I mean, that league was rough. We faced a lot of hate, multiple pieces of hate postboard in most games. I mean, we did win some cool games, but yeah. Overall, I would say I feel like my initial suspicions about the list regarding Strike It Rich, I think I'm still sticking with. I don't think Strike It Rich will be in the final versions of Ruby that get a little bit more refined. I also think Static Prison is just not a good card. This feels like kind of a poor way to answer 8 that Storm is facing. I think I would rather be playing Bounce. Echoing Truth and Preordain are speaking to me right now, and I think that's a lot better than Static Prison. I could also see a case for Beseiju, but again, that does not hit creatures, so maybe use with caution. Beyond that, I mean, it just feels like the meta online is very, very hostile to Storm right now. I would not play this in a tournament this weekend, or if I had one coming up immediately. I think I would give it a little bit of time for things to cool off, people to start cutting those Storm hate cards from their sideboard, and then that will be the time that Storm will make a big showing and win a tournament. So that's sort of my shot. I mean, maybe the Pro Tour is a far enough ahead meta-wise from everyone that you know, I don't think people are going to be necessarily packing tons of Storm hate for that, but maybe they will. Who knows? The deck is certainly very powerful. I think it will be a deck that has some staying power in Modern here, but I think that we need to wait a little bit for the meta to chill, at least online, in order to play it more. So maybe until next time, play some Thassa's Oracles, and let's leave Ral on the shelf a little bit longer. All right, take care, and yeah, see you next time.